We are live. Go ahead.
What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Line Podcast. This is episode 38, the Tommy McCullum.
Jesus Christ, Thomas McCollum.
Let's turn into it. Farewell.
All right. I gotta go serious again here.
That player is about as bad as the season we've been having.
Okay, well, do you have another number 38 that's better?
No, I actually go with that and say, in reference to how bad our season is, this is dedicated to Tommy McCollum.
All right, pick another number 38. I just couldn't think of another.
I'll give you a good one. Here we go.
Okay.
Number 38s in Red Wings history are
Red Berenson.
Murray Evans, Jeff Brubaker, Scott King, Jason York, Bobby Dallas, Tim Taylor, Norm Miracle, Kevin Hodgson, Nathan Robinson. No one good. Kevin Hodgson. Hodgson is probably the best.
We're going with Tommy McCollum because it's
God, what's our next episode? Dominic Hasek's our next episode.
Dominic Hasek, yeah.
Or Johan Franzen.
Johan Franzen wore 93.
In 2006, he wore 39.
Did he actually?
Yeah.
I did
then
not.
Jan Mersak and now Anthony Mantha.
Oh, yeah, Jan Mersak, yeah. All right. You guys ready?
Ooh, Stacey Roos wore it in 2000.
Oh, wow.
Okay, here we go, boys. All right. What's up, and welcome to another episode of the Grind Line Podcast. This is episode 38, the Tommy McCullum episode. How you boys doing tonight?
Fantastic. Watching awful hockey at its finest.
I sense some sarcasm in that, Ryan.
Mildly, you might be right.
No, man.
Still can't score.
The game
Greg, how you doing?
I mean, we're about to lose the fourth game in a row to start the season, so not great.
Our leading goal scorer is now Nick Jensen.
And that wraps up. That will culminate the entire season for us.
Wow. That was like grandma's trying to score a goal there. They had like 5 chances. If you guys don't know, we are recording at the end of this Toronto Maple Leafs debacle that they've kind of gotten dominated in. But we'll, Greg, I want to kick it off to you to get it started here.
Yeah, Tyler, make sure again hold your mic out a little bit. Other side. So tonight what we're going to talk about is we got a few topics. We're going to get this in tonight. The Detroit Red Wings have put black seat covers on all the seats at Little Caesars Arena. We're also going to talk about the first few games of the season, and we're going to give some player impressions. So far, players that stand out. We might touch a little bit about some really, really, really dumb conversations we've been having on social media about Anthony Mantha. So... Yes, the Red Wings, they were talking about replacing, they put on, I think 97.1 reported it earlier last week, that the Red Wings were talking about replacing the seats in LCA with black seats. They said their reasoning for it was so that the empty seats didn't distract the players. We all know it's so that the empty seats don't distract the TV audience. Even though it's a sellout game every night, the people don't necessarily show up. So they tweeted out a picture earlier of the black seat covers on, and I'm not going to lie, they look pretty sharp. What do you think, Ryan?
I mean, it's not awful, but I think it's because you can still see red on the seats. So that's why I'm a little bit impartial to how the black seat covers look. But however, I'm looking at a picture from the home opener with the red seats. It's just to me it's not the same. I mean, your team is red. The Pistons, apparently they're the ones bitching about this. They're still red. You have that aura of the arena showing that you're there to support that team. They're in red.
So I want to know who started that whole Pistons are bitching about it thing, because I didn't read anything about the Pistons bitching about it.
Me either. I didn't.
I think it's a cover that Fox Sports Detroit threw out there to make it look like there's multiple reasons. I mean, by Fox Sports Detroit, I mean Illich or whoever the freaking Red Wings brass.
The Pistons don't have black in their colors either.
No,
they're blue and red.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Both teams, their primary color is red.
Yeah,
I think black makes the stadium look nice, though. Honestly,
so I don't have a problem with it. Well, I like the black with the red seat bases. So I don't have an issue with it. To me, it looks good. But if you were gonna do, you should have just done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
Why did all of the seats need to be red? Why did everything have to be red?
What's it gonna
Maybe
be
it
an
was a little.
additional $3.5 million to do this?
Is that how much it costs for seat covers?
No, just for the actual changing of the seats.
What are they going to do with the old ones?
No idea.
Well, I don't think they're actually
sell
going
them?
to change them. I think they're going to keep the covers. I don't think they're actually going to change all the seats
No,
out.
they are
Will-
changing
No,
them. Yeah, they are
they're-
changing them.
They're fully changing them. That was the
Yeah.
plan. They're starting in like mid to late December and doing the entire stadium change out.
How? They're going to have to do it in like 2 days.
No, they're going to do it like a gradual change.
Yeah.
Unless they wait until. Why don't they just wait till All-Star break then and do them all during All-Star break?
Why did they sign Franz Nielsen and Justin Advocator to long deal, high paying terms? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't make the decisions.
Well, can I just throw my 2 cents out there
Yeah,
real quick?
go ahead, and then
So,
we'll stop
like-
talking about these dumbass seats.
Yeah, so like like I said, I mean, from the beginning, I like going to opening night last year, the first game ever there, or first regular season game ever there. Like it was evident right away that they were just like way too bright, like way too bright. Like the red, it was like almost even more bright than the uniform. And like the more I watched the games on TV, the more I was like, well, why didn't they just make these like a dark red or like a maroon color,
Like
or
Joe
even
Louis
like a
red.
gray, like Joe Louis red, exactly, the red with the white. Or if you didn't want to do the red with the white, go like a Montreal, like a darker red. Like, why did you have to do this outstanding bright ass red that didn't even really go with the team? I don't think so. That was stupid from the beginning, I thought. And then the other thing is like, well, okay, so you should have just, like you said, should have just done it from the beginning, and you wouldn't have this problem. Now you have to put seat covers on, which actually look pretty good, by the way, with the red bottom, and so whatever. I mean, I guess they're just seats, and it does look a lot less empty, though. I will say that on TV tonight.
Yeah,
Yes,
someone
Matthews
online
scores
said
again.
someone online said they should have just screen printed people on the back of the seats to make it look full. But yeah, I think that it'll look good, but they should have just done it from the beginning.
I
Yeah.
totally agree. By the way, with what Mickey Redmond said, Matthews might be the next 50 goal scorer in the National Hockey League.
At the rate he's going, I mean, yeah, he just scored again on the power play.
9th goal already.
That's what happens when you surround your star players with talent. Just
Weird.
saying.
Yeah.
So
Spend
the
money
first,
on good players.
yeah, exactly. So the first few games of the season have gone by: Columbus, LA, and then Anaheim, and now Toronto. And we're going to be 0-4. Which, if you think about it, we probably could have won the Columbus game. I don't think we were winning the LA game, and I think we could have won the Anaheim game. That could have been 7-0 that game. So this Toronto game, there was no way we were winning. So the first few games, is it turning out the way you expected it to turn out so far, or are you surprised we have 2 points, Tyler?
Am I surprised that we have 2 points?
Yeah. And is it going the way you think it should be going?
No, I mean, I thought that they would have a little bit more results, but I mean, they're being competitive. This Toronto game, I mean, they're being outshot 32-19, and they're still keeping the game, rather close. As all the Leafs are not playing that great either. But I mean, it's sort of the game the way I would expect it to go. Hopefully, they can get a win on Saturday against Boston, because I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be trying to break my streak of, I think it's 8 games that I've seen in the regular season they haven't won there. So pretty soon I'm not going to be allowed to go there.
I'm surprised you're not
according to you guys.
Yeah, you shouldn't be going there anyway.
Yeah,
You shouldn't be living in Boston. You're like a giant traitor already. So, Ryan, what are your impressions of the first few? Yeah, exactly. Ryan, what are your impressions of the first few games?
They're going as I expected, I would say. They've played better, I think, overall than I was expecting. But at the same time, they are showing how young they are, for one, and really just how bad they are at the other end of things. Like, they looked great, but then all of a sudden, boom, You got Mantha just standing there flat-footed at the blue line getting burned, and there's a goal. You've got your rookie defenders both puck watching, and all of a sudden there's somebody backside getting a backdoor goal. So they've provided sparks and hopes, but they just don't have that pure goal scoring touch. That, I mean, yeah, it was just Zetterberg, but he was finishing goals that they're not finishing right now. Anthony Ciu can't catch a damn break, and it's more frustrating to watch overall than happy. There's been flashes of greatness. It's exciting still to watch because of how much and how fast they're flying around the ice, but they just can't do it.
Yeah, this season Anthony Mantha's Riley Shan 2.0.
He just cannot see you.
Athanasiou is Riley Shan 2.0, and you can't buy himself a goal. That's I mean, breakout in the Anaheim game, he had at least 3 open nets and could not hit one.
Yep,
it's insane. Thomas Vanek is also invisible on the ice.
He has been, but he's still been making some great plays out there.
It's been better tonight.
Yeah. But I think that moves us into our player impressions and the people that have stood out. And of course, I mean, Athanasiou has stood out, but not for a good reason. It's because he literally cannot put a puck in the net after his insane preseason, where he did great. He just can't buy himself a goal. And the other person that's kind of stood out to me that shows that he's matured a little bit and got a little bit more solid play, Joe Hicketts. Have you seen Joe Hicketts clear out the front of a net?
Mm-hmm. Better than Eriksson.
Yeah, Joe Hicketts half the size of Eriksson, twice the power. And then I think the other person that stood out to me so far has been, oh God, who was it? Wait, I lost it. Oh, so the other person who stood out to me so far is Tyler Bertuzzi. You could put Bertuzzi on any line, and he's so good. He had the prettiest goal of the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your guys' standouts?
Do you want me to go first, or you want to go, Ryan?
I'll go real quick. I'll get my frustration out of the way. Every veteran that's making more than $3 million is my highlight so far of being just straight hot fucking garbage. And it's being led in due process by Justin Abdelkader, who literally could get pressured by snow on the ice and turn the puck over right now. He did it the other night against Anaheim with the most incredible pass off the back of the net to a direct turnover. He's done it again tonight, which led to a goal. It's just, I don't understand. And they finally got one. No, it's just everyone that's younger is doing what we would expect and scoring goals. They're making plays happen, like Anthony Ciu, Bertuzzi, how you just talked about it. Looks like Bertuzzi might have just scored again. Freaking Helm is actually, of the group that's aged, is actually playing well. So is Glendening, which unfortunately is giving them more ice time, even though they're not friggin' scoring at all. I think Rasmussen has looked pretty good. I mean, the young guys are doing what we're hoping they're doing, and that's playing hard, but it's just not amounting to wins right now, and that's the frustrating piece.
Tyler, who are your guys so far?
Yeah, I would. I mean, just like by watching and not really looking at stats, because I mean, it's really kind of early in the season to be looking at stats and crazy stuff like that, unless you're Austin Matthews right now. But just from an eye test standpoint, I would say Larkin has really stood out. You can just tell he's gotten better. His vision's much better. It looks like he's getting better at slowing the game down. Athanasiou is the same kind of thing, except he can't buy a goal right now. He looks good at the center position. On defense, I mean, guys that, I never would have thought would have even made this team was Libor Sulak. Besides the fucking penalties, the guy has been really good. He's fast. He's got a decent shot. Chalosky, before he got hurt, he's been playing good. The young defense have been a great addition to the team. Now, I know that they haven't been the greatest defensively, but I mean, they're doing a better job than Kronwall and Eriksson were. And those guys, and Xavier Ouellet and those type of guys. So I think all in all, that's been positive. They just need to find a way to put the puck in the fucking net. I think that's the biggest issue right now. I think you guys would agree.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. If they would have scored, I mean, if all the chances that they had, if even half the chances they've had so far would have gone in, they would have won the Anaheim game, and they'd be winning right now in Toronto.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're back down
good goal.
Again.
4-3
yeah.
now.
So it's, I mean,
Bertuzzi, of course.
Bert's, like I said, Bert is he's a top 6 player. He'll play on your first line, play on your second line, no problem. What I don't know is why they start Abdelkader on the top lines at all.
They love Abdelkader. They love Justin
and I don't get it.
I don't understand why.
Well, they've got a boner for local players, that's why. And I don't understand what it is with it, because it's, if they're not good, they're not good. Get rid of them. And Abdelkader, I mean, paid a ridiculous amount of money. Stick him on the fourth line.
Can I throw one other guy out there too that I thought was buried? I thought this guy was done. Like, I thought there was no chance this guy was going to play much better this year. Danny DeKeyser has looked better. I don't know if he's faster. It looks like he's worked on his skating in the offseason, because he looks way faster out there. I don't know defensively how he's looked, because, like I said, I mean, I'm in the middle of baseball playoffs, so it's been really tough to watch every single moment of every single game when they're intertwined. But from the moments that I've looked, Danny DeKeyser has looked pretty good. Am I wrong at that assessment? Or
he hasn't looked bad, so I would say you're pretty
way better than last year so far, anyways.
So I would never use the word good to describe Danny DeKeyser's play, but DeKeyser has been average. He hasn't been bad, and I think that's because of the injuries. He hasn't had to play with Eriksson, and he hasn't had to play with Kronwall. So you're getting him with someone who's actually semi-competent, and he can be okay when he's with someone who's semi-competent. He tried to fight today. That was hilarious.
I missed that. I was on my way home, but I heard it on the radio.
Yeah, it was. He hugged his opponent to death, but it was. He can do okay if you put him with other people who are also okay. So it's when you put a defenseman with a bad defenseman, of course they're going to drag them down and make it look like everything's their fault.
Well, yeah, they're trying to make up for him. And I think to that point, Tyler, Jensen has really looked a lot better starting out this year. And I think part of that might have to do with how well his world championship went. I thought he was great there because he was actually, with better players, obviously, but they let him open the play up more and actually be more aggressive. And that's how he's utilizing the defense right now.
I think he's – go ahead, Greg, and then I'll –
I was almost certain Jensen was going to be traded before the beginning of the season.
Yeah, you just kind of stole my thunder there. I was going to say he's probably trade bait, pretty much no matter what, depending on how he plays.
Yeah, So far, I don't think there's anyone doing extremely bad except for the people who are paid a lot of money, which I guess makes sense. And you know who else has been good? Jimmy Howard. So lay the fuck off of Jimmy Howard. Jesus Christ.
I have not said anything about Jimmy this year.
These losses are in no way Howard's fault.
No way.
The Columbus game I was not happy about. That was a weak goal. Overtime, that is. He saved them a point in that game, too.
Yeah. So we'll cover a few things real quick. Red Kelly's number 4 is going to be retired in Detroit in February, I think.
It is going to be February 1st against Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah, who also have Red Kelly's number retired.
Yeah, so it's fitting because I've got the whole thing pulled up here. He had, 2/3 of his career games were spent in Detroit, so it seems fitting for the type of career that he had and for how long he's actually been in the Hall of Fame. So
yeah, so Red Kelly is one of the Red Wings' best defensemen back in the Gordie Howe days. One of the first offensive defensemen that he had good enough speed and puck handling to be able to join the offense and score. So long time coming, Red Kelly, and they said it's all 100% Marian Ilitch and Chris Ilitch's decision to retire Red Kelly's number. Red Kelly is still alive. He is 91 years old. And I'm assuming if he makes it to February, he'll be at the ceremony. So.
Oh, good. Abdelkader trying to be relevant and fighting somebody.
So it'll be good to retire that. And the last thing we'll end with tonight, we got about 5 or so minutes to talk about is...
I just want to touch on that, Greg, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I get retiring Red Kelly's number. He's one of the Red Wings legends, 4 cups with the Wings, all of that. Mm-hmm. Where is the love for Sergei Fedorov? This is literally one of the greatest fucking players in the history of the NHL, not just the Red Wings. One of the greatest pure goal scorers of all time. Why
So
is
I
this
think-
number 91 not retired yet?
I think we've talked about
Got
this
brought up
before.
today, too, though, by Illich.
We'll have to have a discussion about this at some other time because we can go on forever with it. But it is because of the way he left to go somewhere else and wouldn't take. He was with the Wings for so long, wouldn't take the contract and left on a bad note and a bad reputation with the city. And it just wasn't. It should be retired, yes, but I think he's just on bad standings with Mr. I, and Mr. I never wanted to retire it.
There's another name. There's another number that you could retire easily too. Number 14.
Well,
I
you could.
I don't get that one, but anyway.
You could retire Konstantinov's number. You could retire.
Konstantinov is already kind of like a not truly retired, but no one's allowed to have it.
That's the way 14 should be. I don't understand why anybody but Shanahan can wear that number.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
So
anyway,
what we'll end with, and we've got about 5 minutes to cover it, is the Anthony Mantha. God, I hate people so much. The Anthony Mantha. Oh my God, why isn't he traded topic?
Welcome, Jake.
So there's this thing going around now by people who don't pay attention to anything and have zero knowledge.
Jake does, and that's the frustrating part. I'm gonna keep calling him out on this because he is the reason this subject has come up.
So the thing going around is Anthony Mantha, apparently because he is not good defensively and for the past 4 games just hasn't played the body. Like, he's big enough and he can run into people, and they're like, well, why doesn't he skate faster and run into people? Anthony Mantha is a power forward. Anthony Mantha is not a two-way player. He's not a very good defensive player. You know who else isn't a very good defensive player? Alexander Ovechkin's not a very good defensive player.
Phil Kessel.
Phil Kessel.
Patrick Kane. Any of those wingers.
So Mantha does not have to be the world's most amazing defensive player. He will be a 30-plus goal scorer in this league. Why would you trade him, and what is your return going to be?
No idea. He hasn't put up enough to give you top-tier return, in my opinion.
Like, to tell you how dumb people's trade opinions are, someone suggested today that we trade Luke Glendening and Danny DeKeyser to Toronto for Nylander and 2 prospects.
You realize that's awful, right?
That would never happen, first of all.
That is like trading 2 pieces of garbage for a Mercedes. Like,
that was really a suggestion?
Yeah, no, that was a suggestion, and people were on the thread like, "Oh my God, that's a great idea!" Like, Toronto would be laughed out of the freaking league. They would look.
This isn't Mark Bergevin.
Montreal. They'd look worse than Montreal, and they'd look worse than Ottawa. Like, why? Why would people even think about that? But Ryan, give me your Anthony Mantha spiel.
Well, first of all, so my buddy Jake here, who is in my Twitter poll about this. Option C has gained a lot of ground in the fact that he should not do drugs because they're bad for your health.
Yep. Good option.
I looked at him and literally just turned back around in my seat because I just could not believe what the hell came out of his mouth. And, I mean, I can understand the sentiment. Yeah, he's a shitty defensive player, but when he is playing defense, he is a true force to be reckoned with. He is a guy that is still not playing to his full potential. And it's evident by the fact that he hasn't really done enough offensively to start this season. But he's shown spurts of what he can do. And as this team grows, he's going to be a key factor in how this team grows and moves forward. He's going to be the guy putting the puck in the fucking net. And on top of what your point was, is who are we going to get for him? He's not a guy you're going to trade for, say, I can't even think of someone that's accurate right now. Carlson, for instance. You're going to include him in that trade? Try to get Carlson. What is he going to give up for him? Granted, this is before he went to like San Jose, for instance, but you're not going to get a top 2 defender for a guy like Mantha, especially if you're trying to go a straight up trade at all. You're going to have to include more players in that. You're going to have to include top end picks, which you can't afford to give away either. So you got him, you go with him. It's silly to try to think about trading him when it's been keep the kids, play the kids, but now we want to trade the kids. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. No. It's just a dumb. I mean, I'm reading now, even online, someone that says, "Can we just trade Nyquist? He's barely playing, and when he's out there, he doesn't even try." Are you kidding me? Like, I assume Nyquist will be a trade deadline piece, but you can't say that when he's out there he doesn't try. They put him on the top 2 lines. He's clearly trying.
See his little legs get going when he's skating hard.
Like these
people just they want to be a GM of a team, and like
if you want to be a GM, get on Cap Friendly or play.
Yeah, NHL. Go on Cap Friendly or go play NHL or whatever. But like, don't come with these god awful, proposals and this and that and the other thing. It's honestly like they just take things and just throw them at the wall and hope they stick and this and that and the other thing. It's like, just can you come up with something that's a little bit more creative than something stupid like that? Like, who's trading Anthony Mantha? And if you do trade Anthony Mantha, you better hope you're getting a lot.
That's good. Are you kidding me?
The other thing that I get today is so someone posted during the middle of this game, so what are the excuses for Howard today? And someone's reply was, someone must be checking the score on their phone. So it's like people, they're not paying attention. They're not actually watching, or they think that all goals are the goalie's fault.
Yeah. Well, people, I feel like this now too, that the team's not that good. People, there's a lot more negatives to talk about than positives. So people just want to hammer home the negatives. And same with like now. No, I saw something today that like drove me absolutely insane. It's like, what did they say? It was when the Red Wings posted that Kronwall was going to be in the lineup and Cholowski's going to be out. And they're like, they're just making up the Cholowski injury because Kronwall, hashtag play the kids, the veterans always, tie goes to the veterans and everything. It's like, no, that's not really how it's been this year. So like, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, I don't know. It's just aggravating, really.
And that's 0-4.
Yeah. Yep. So I think that's where we'll end the podcast on the loss to Toronto. Tyler, final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts is they better fucking beat the Bruins on Saturday. Please. I don't care if you lose every game in October except for that one. Just please win that game.
Ryan, final thoughts.
A win's going to happen. This team is showing that they can do it. They just can't put a complete game together, and the youth is promising, and I'll go with that. Keep it going in that sense.
Yeah, I just like to see competition, man. If they're competing, they're winning in my book, and they'll win by losing. It's if you're finish in the bottom 3 in the league, and you're guaranteed in top 6. So it's good. You're gonna lose. Don't expect the Red Wings to win. When they do win, be happy. Be happy the kids are playing and getting experience. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you, but seriously, stop blaming Howard. Quit bitching about people underperforming. It's going to happen this year. It's a rebuild. You've screamed for a rebuild. We're getting the rebuild. Fucking deal with it.
And it's an actual rebuild. It's not one of these little. It's not one of these little rebuilds that it's half-assed. This is a real.
It's not a rebuild on the fly.
Retired. Datsuk's gone. This is it. The Kronwall's gone, leaving soon. Erickson. So this is a rebuild.
Yeah,
not soon enough, Tyler. Exactly. But yes, I'm going to take us out here. I thought this podcast was good. I'm glad we're back. Hopefully the Wings can play better hockey. But Greg, I want you to shout out your Twitter handle, please.
Yeah, you can follow me online at Bringing the Wing. I'm also I run the Grind Line podcast Twitter about 90% of the time. Ryan throws some tweets on there every once in a while. So you can follow me on Twitter at Bringing the Wing or at Grindline Pod.
Ryan, go ahead.
You can follow me at RDRyan33 and my misery of Red Wings posts. I'm not going to update my tally for 1 goal losses tonight. I thought we had one. That would have been 3 and 4 games. That would have been fantastic.
You can follow me on Twitter at SealDog91. You can follow the Grindline Podcast on Twitter at GrindlinePod. You can also look us up on iTunes, Google Play, I believe Stitcher. You can also find us on Spotify and Podbean. For Greg and Ryan, I'm Tyler. Hopefully you guys have a good night, and hopefully the Wings can beat the Bruins.
Good job, guys.
Alrighty.
Yep.